Okay, are we rolling? I think we are. Well, it's nice to see you all again. Sorry, I've not been as regular as I'd like to be, and I'm not going to be too wacky today as I usually am every other video. I'm going to try and do 2 tonight and then do another one for tomorrow. Some things that were on my mind, and I want to talk about the first thing I wanted to talk about. This would be a wrestling video, so number video number two. The second one will be an MMA one, and anyone who sees it, I want you to think about what I'm going to say in the video and what I'm kind of getting at. So, what I wanted to talk about was a conversation I'm having with a friend of mine, Mr. Great GTR, who I'm going back and forth with right now, and we were talking about, there's 3 things I'm going to talk about, but the thing that we and him were talking about was this: CM Punk versus The Rock at Royal Rumble. And there's been a lot of discussion online amongst fans about who's going to win, who they think would win, what WrestleMania is going to be like, and a lot of people already saying that the top 3 matches will be Brock Lesnar versus Triple H number 2, which I really don't want to see again, The Rock versus John Cena for the belt, and CM Punk versus The Undertaker. And obviously CM Punk versus The Undertaker won't be for the title, but Rock John Cena number 2 will be, with the end result of Cena possibly winning. And when I thought about it, and when I thought about just the year in general, with CM Punk on top, I was like, do you know what? I want to see CM Punk retain the belt. I don't want to see CM Punk lose the belt at Royal Rumble. I think that he has done a fantastic job in the role that he's been put in throughout the year, especially as he turned heel. I think he's done a very good job. He's very good at goading the crowd. He's very good at getting people to hate him. He's very hateable and very good at getting you to boo him. And while I like The Rock and I'm a huge fan of his and I have always enjoyed his work, I would rather see something different happen. And I think while people like myself view CM Punk as that level of performer, I think a lot of other people don't just yet, and they haven't fully bought into him just yet, and they kind of view him as a very good guy, but he's just, say like you've got like Triple H's and The Rocks and the Cenas up here, and CM Punk is just here. And then beneath that you've got kind of guys like Sheamus and Del Rio, and then you've got the lower card with like guys like Tyson Kidd, who hope he recovers well. I heard he had a really bad knee injury, big fan of his, hope he recovers well. But what I'm getting at is that CM Punk is kind of viewed just as a rung below them, kind of in that Jericho realm. And I think that if they really want to elevate CM Punk and really cement him and really give him some momentum as a heel, because you think about it, if he beats Rock convincingly, that gives him so much clout and so much he can say the next day after Raw. And to me, that would actually be a Raw worth seeing if Punk beats The Rock and he comes out the next day on TV and says, you know, I bet everyone thought that Rock was going to win. Well, guess what? I spoiled all the plans, and I hope he wins the belt, keeps the belt at Elimination Chamber. And when you think about that, that would be a real good way of having a fantastic, strongly booked heel world champion coming into WrestleMania, something they've not had in a while. And if you're going to say The Miz, I won't agree with you, because Miz was not a strong heel champion. He was an afterthought. But if they go in that direction with CM Punk, I would like to see that. And I think that if he's going to lose the belt, do it at WrestleMania where it's more special and it actually does come across as an end of some kind of era or reign. And it would have more, you know, you'd get the maximum impact, the maximum effect. And it's a shame in a way they haven't built someone else up on the other side of it and made that person win the Royal Rumble and then eventually beat him. And that would have been interesting to have gone in that way. But all in all, I just think that CM Punk should hold the belt. I'd like to see him beat Rock. I'd like to see him keep it through Elimination Chamber. And I'd like to see something different for a change. We're going to see Rock and Cena for the title. And does that mean then that Cena's going to win the belt again? Highly likely. And do I think people want to see that? No. And do I think that people are going to complain about that? Absolutely. Anyways, the other things I wanted to talk about, and I'll make them kind of brief. Don't know if you can hear that, but the police sirens are going off. That's not a good sign. Wade Barrett and Antonio Cesaro. And there's been a lot of talk online about the two of them, and I wanted to chime in on that. So there were talks online between fans that Wade Barrett would be the next guy to get the big push, and unfortunately he got injured and those plans were put on hold for a while, and he came back and they gave him video packages and a new finishing move and a kind of updated some of the things he was doing in the ring and kind of playing up to more of his street fighting roots, if you want to say that. And he was just there, if you want to call it. And it looked like they were going to do him versus Sheamus or something for WrestleMania, but now plans have changed. Wade Barrett is the Intercontinental Champion, and I was watching him beat Randy Orton. He got a clean win, and it kind of made an impression on me. And it made me think, are they planning to do something with Wade Barrett now? Are those plans back in full effect? And they have been saying, allegedly within the company, that they've got plans for Barrett, but they don't want to go forward with them until 2013. And the time is 2013. And it makes me wonder that coming into the year, well, they're going to give Barrett that steam and really put the machine behind him. And I would like to see that. And the other guy that I would like to see that with is Antonio Cesaro. A big fan of his, by the way. I enjoyed him when he was in CZW as Claudio Castagnoli. I loved him in Ring of Honor when around the time of 2005-2006 when he was there, when he first came there. I loved him in Shikara. I loved the Kings of Wrestling when they had that Gold Rush angle. It was just fantastic, and they won every tag team title on the scene at that time. The Shikara ones, the CZW ones, the ROH ones. Always been a big fan of his. I think he's a phenomenal talent. He's good at doing some of the strongman high spots and the spectacular athletic things. It's kind of like a John Jones, Alistair Overeem hybrid in some ways, even though he's white and Swiss. But I think there's something there with him, and the one thing that seems to be holding him back is the gimmick and the persona that they bring him with. And while I think he carries himself well and he carries himself like a star, and we know he can carry himself like a star, they've given him a dated, evil foreigner gimmick, which, to be honest with you, in this day and age doesn't really work for me. And I don't think it works with a lot of people. And even when you look at the material he's saying, like, you know, when he came out, and I'll just get my tea for a second, but when he came out and he said that, you know, did this promo, basically, you Americans are eating fried foods. Well, why would I want to boo Cesaro for saying I eat fried food? I don't. But it's like, well, actually, he's actually saying something that's good for you. He's saying you shouldn't eat fried food. It's not good for you. Why are you booing that? It's just, you know what I mean? The material's just, and the rest of it. And I think that they should work on that, maybe, and change things. And apparently they believe that this is going to be a guy that's going to take a while for him to get over. And I agree, it might. But when he gets there, he will stay over and be over. And, you know, we've heard people say that before. And I think that will be, I think if they're going to do something with him, why not put him in there with CM Punk and Paul Heyman? I think him and Paul Heyman would be very good. Heyman would be a good mouthpiece for him. I think that could work. And I think he could have some great feuds with Del Rio and Sheamus and CM Punk and Randy Orton. I think he had a great match with Randy Orton. I thought he brought the best out in Randy. But they need to change and tweak the gimmick. And speaking of Barrett and Cesaro, if they're going to do anything with them, maybe Cesaro could be the top guy on one show, or be built to be one of the top guys on one show, and Barrett could be built to be one of the top guys on the other show. Maybe have them both win Money in the Banks, you know, for the Raw and SmackDown ladder matches, and then do something with them from there. And hopefully they don't Dolph Ziggler them, where they lose all the time, and no one buys into them being a top guy, even though they've got the talent and skill to. But no, we're going to make you lose anyways, and hopefully present them as individuals that are going to survive and be a force within the company. Anyways, I'm talking a lot. I'm waffling a lot. You let me know what you think. You write some comments. Anyone out there, tell me what you think about Barrett or Cesaro as champion. Tell me what you think about CM Punk being the person to retain the belt instead of The Rock. Anything else you want to say, let me know. Write some comments. Always love hearing from all of you. I am now going to stop, do part 2, which is the MMA video. Anyone that watched the TNA British Boot Camp, please let me know. I watched the last couple. I really enjoyed the last episode, actually, which is a nice change. I like it more than Impact. I'm going to head off. So, and I've said this several times, I'm going to head off 6 times. I've said it. You write comments. I'm going to do part 2 in about 3 or 4 minutes. Peace.